Hello, it's Greg, Coach Greg again, and welcome to this video. And what I'm going to do is look at setting up a Gmail account. Now, the reason why we're going to be doing that is because it's a really good idea to set up a Gmail account. But 90% of the people in the world have got Gmail accounts. Well, I think they have. But look, some of the advantages of setting up a Gmail account is things like you don't have minimum problems with spam. Of course, you can actually operate it from any computer anywhere in the world, and the deliverability from a Gmail account is very, very high. So you'll have almost no problems about sending and receiving emails from a Gmail account. Plus, there's a lot of other advantages which I'll point out to you in a short while. So what I'm going to do is walk you through setting up one and actually setting up the account. This is the prime reason for this video, is to set up the account so you can get the most out of your Gmail account. So look, first of all you're going to do is go to gmail.com. I've already set up an account, but a couple of tips about setting up a new account. Gmail.com and then select new account. Now, the first thing they'll ask you is your name. I suggest you put your real name in there because people receiving the email will have John Smith, Greg Watford, whatever it is. So don't put some funny, quirky little name. Otherwise, they won't know who's the email from. The next thing that'll be asked of you is to actually choose a name for your email address. Now, if you go and put in, let's say you're John Smith. So your name is John Smith, and you go and put in John Smith. It's already taken, I'm sure. So it'll come up with a suggestion: John Smith 1063, John Smith 75. And you think, well, that's what a lot of people do. They just go and select that for no particular reason. What you've got to do is just juggle that John Smith around. Smith John, J Smith, maybe your Mark is your middle name. So how about John Mark Smith? How about Smith John Mark? Things like that. So juggle it around. If you cannot find one that works for you, in other words, an address that's already is available and not taken, then you're going to have to put a number somewhere in there and make sure that the number is significant to you, and don't put your birth date, please, or the current date, as I've seen some people do. Okay. The other thing is you can put dots in between. So John Smith. Let's say John Smith is available. You can put John Smith. Now, Google it'll accept the dots, but it doesn't. It's not a different address. John Smith and John Smith is exactly the same address so far as Google is concerned, but you can have dots in between. So just bear that in mind. Now, the next thing they ask you is your birthday. So it's up to you whether you want to put your real birthday in there. For security purposes, you can put the day and the month and then go and put a different year. It's up to you. So now, the other thing is security. They will ask you maybe then or at some stage, Gmail will ask you for your phone number and a secondary email address for security purposes. It's really important that you set them up correctly and you record all this in a spreadsheet, because ultimately you're going to have lots and lots of, well, you could have lots and lots of Gmail addresses, but you'll have lots and lots of usernames and passwords. So I set it up in a spreadsheet, and you can keep it somewhere secure if you so wish, but just make sure that you've got the name, first column in the spreadsheet. The name, well, it'll be Gmail. The next column will be the link that you go to get to log in. Okay, so it'll be gmail.com, something like that. Then you'll have your johnsmith@gmail.com is your login, your username, then your password, and then maybe some notes. Now, sometimes they ask, not necessarily Gmail, but some other login arrangements will ask you for a PIN number, 4-digit PIN, so you may want to record that. Gmail may even ask you at some stage for a couple of security questions, your mother's maiden name or where you first went to school or something like that. Because sometime down the track, maybe in next year or a year after that, something will happen to your account and you'll have to answer these questions so you can actually get back into your account. Okay, so just bear that in mind. And you record, so you record all this in a spreadsheet so you don't, you can write it in a book. I'm not really fussed on that, because you could have hundreds of usernames and passwords. You want to copy paste. You don't want to type usernames and passwords. Okay, so that will set up your new account, your new Gmail account. So let's go and have a look. I'm going to share my screen. Let's see where I'm going to share it to. That one there, I do believe. Right, so you should be seeing my screen now. So I have set up. I've opened up an old account that I've had from some time ago, and it's got nothing in it. We're looking in the inbox right now, and we've got a couple of messages from Gmail welcoming me aboard and talking about privacy and things like that. Down the bottom left, you'll see that there is 15 gigabytes. One of the advantages of Gmail is you can have 16 gigs of storage, because you actually have multiple uses for this account. So if you go to the top right hand side, see these 9 little dots. They call them Google Apps. It's actually a menu. So just move me out of the way. And you can see with your Google account, you've registered a Google account, but it's given you access to YouTube, and this account in YouTube. There's your Gmail, contacts. So where all your contacts, even your Gmail contacts, will live under contacts. A calendar, which is really cool. It's a really good calendar, and I highly recommend it to you. But the other one is Google Drive. This Google Drive is like having a space online, and in the cloud. It's not really in the cloud; it sits on a server, and you've got 15 gigabytes of space in that. You can actually back up things. You put photographs and things like that. You can put all sorts of things in your Google Drive. Now you've got, what have we got? Google Plus. But within Google Drive, let me just go back to Google Drive. Within Google Drive, you've actually got Google, what are they called? Google Docs. So you've got all, it looks like Microsoft Office. So you've got Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, the Google version thereof. And it's brilliant. You can use it from any computer. You can store it up there. You can do all sorts of things within your Google Drive. And that's all part and parcel of having a Gmail account. One of the advantages. So where does it live? It lives in these little nine dots, which is like a menu. I've just clicked it again, and there it is. It's a menu. Okay, so down the bottom left now, it says click here to enable desktop notifications. What I'm going to do is just close that down, because we'll have a look at that in a minute. We're going to get into settings and set up your Google account properly. One thing I just want to mention at this point, maybe when you're looking at this video, it'll be slightly different. Well, that's all right. Just bear in mind that the Gmail you'll be using will be basically the same. It might look slightly different, but it'll be basically the same. So there'll be similar features, unless they come up with some really huge feature in the future. Okay. The first thing that I noticed straight away with this, and you'll see this, is there's 3 tabs across the top. Can you see them? It says primary, it says social, and it says promotions. And right now I'm clicking on social, there's nothing in it. Clicking on promotions, nothing in it. Clicking back to primary, and that's my inbox. Personally, I don't like these tabs. What it means is that you've got 3 inboxes, and you've got to remember to look in each inbox, and you don't know what's going to go in there. It's Google's attempt to funnel emails into one of those folders. So we're going to get rid of that straight away. So let's get into the settings. Now, the settings is always a gear wheel. That's the international symbol nowadays, a gear wheel for settings. So I'm clicking on settings, and I'm going into settings again. You can configure your inbox from that point as well, and the look of it. See, it says go back to classic and things like that. So I'm running a new version of a new look to my Gmail. So let's click on settings, which I'm just doing right now. So a new page completely comes up. I'm in the first tab up across the top. Whoops, daisy, it's general, over the top left. So let's just go down through there. Phone numbers, because I'm actually in Australia. Maximum size, images. Always display external images. I click that little radio dial. It doesn't always work, by the way. I don't know why, but what I like to do is when I open up an email, if it's got images in the email, I want it to open up straight away. So I always click images. This is quite good. This is a new one, undo send. So if you've sent an email and said, I didn't mean to send that. Okay, here it is, send cancellation period. I'd suggest instead of 5 seconds, I'd suggest 10 or 20 seconds of that if you want to use that feature. But it'll save you. It'll save you from time to time. Default behavior on reply. I'm just going to click reply. You don't want to reply all. You can click here to learn more, of course. Now, how the email looks, sans serif is the basic default. Sans means without the little things on the bottom, without the feet. So sans serif, you can change it, and you can play around with that and make your emails look distinctive if you so wish. Let's go down. Now, this is an important one. Conversational view. I click conversational view off. It's to do with the way the emails are stacked. When you receive an email, then you reply to it, and then they reply to you, and then you reply to that, and they reply to you. So it needs to be stacked in chronological order. If you put conversation view on, it actually mixes it up a bit different or something. So anyhow, I normally run a conversational view off, and it looks pretty close to normal. Nudges, let's not worry about that. Hover actions, don't worry about that. Send and receive archives. Desktop notifications. Desktop notifications is when a new email comes in, it goes ding, you've got mail. It's one of those. So yeah, you can have that turned on. I'm turning that on now. The stars are really cool. The stars are beside your each email received. There's on the left-hand side. You can put a star against it, or you can put some sort of color. So under normal circumstances, only one star activated. I always activate all stars. So you can choose any one of those stars and just go and click, click, click. It goes yellow, orange, what's it, sort of red, purple, blue, green. And you just go click, click, click. So it's really cool. Keyboard shortcuts, right? Don't worry about that. Okay, this is where you put your picture in. Now, I've temporarily put the picture of that girl in there. You see where it says change picture? It's really important that you actually put your own picture in there. The reason being is, this is the way that I work it. I've got multiple Gmail accounts, and you need to identify which account you've got opened up straight away. So I've got a different image of me, as a matter of fact, a different image on each of my Gmail accounts, and I suggest that you do the same. Do not leave it blank, and do not put a photograph of your dog or your children. It needs to, the way that I think about it, it needs to be a headshot or something like a headshot, something distinctive. I'm talking about personal Gmail accounts. If you've got a business Gmail account, for example, you could actually put your logo in there. Okay, create contacts. Okay, yeah, create contacts for autocomplete. When I send a message to a new person, right, add them to the other contacts, so it'll autocomplete. That's really, really nifty. To have that operational, because as you're typing I'm going to send an email to Mary Jones, you type Mary J, bang, and it comes up automatically. Right, okay, signature. The one here I wanted to point out to you is the signature. This is really cool. I'm just going over here. Now, you don't have to run a signature, but if you do want to run a signature, which it looks very nice, you can set it up the way you want to do it. I've already got some text set up. I'll just show you what it looks like. In this little what I call notepad, I'm copying the text out of there and save me typing, because I'm not particularly a fast typist. So in the middle here, I'm going to put an image. You watch this. So there's an image, insert image. I've already uploaded an image previously, but if you haven't got any uploads into your drive, you can do it. Just click on there and go and look inside your computer and go and figure out one. Now, one thing I'll just point out to you, see the image is 150 by 150. That's pretty good for signatures, okay? 125 by 125, have it square. If you've got a business, you can put a logo in there perhaps. So I'm selecting that, and it will load it straight in. Just let it have a think about it. There it is there. Now, regarding this, you watch this. I'm going to bold it, I'm going to italics, and I'm going to do the size large. I could even go up one further. I can go huge, for example. And to make this looks good, how about this? What if I put a bold there, on there, on there, and on there. There we go. and that will appear every time I create an email. That signature will go below, go right at the bottom, and you can have that. Well, I'll leave it there for the time being. So that's what the signature will actually look like, as a matter of fact. Okay, personal 11 indicates. Let's not worry about snippets. Not worry about. This is where you go on holidays, vacation. Okay, I'm going to click Save Changes. All right. So that's that first page. I'm just going to cancel that. So that's done. Just going back to the top. So that's general. The second one along is labels. This is really important. Labels is like a separate folder. All right. So I'm going to create one. You can see it here. It all looks a bit complicated, but it's not really. I'm going to create one down the bottom left. Create new label, and we're going to call the label saved items, just for the sake of something. Okay. And you can nest them, etc. So you can work that out. I click create. I'll show you. Or, matter of fact, you can see where it is here. If I go and click more, it should show up saved items. There it is there. Okay. All right. So, and you can have a variety of these folders. Just remember that Gmail, Google, calls them labels and not folders anymore for whatever reason. So you can do things. You can rename it and play around with it. And I'll show you about putting an email in there in a minute. Let's go to the third tab across the top left, the inbox. Now, remember we talked about the tabs inside the inbox, right? We've got a primary, social, and promotions. I'm going to remove them, and I'm going to click Save. All right, so it's really, really important. Okay, so it actually saved and closed the whole thing out. I'm getting back into settings one more time. That was the inbox, accounts and import. What I'd like you to do, you can do filters and blocked addresses. You can do all sorts of wonderful things in here. I'd just like to touch upon where it says forwarding and pop. This is one of the really, really cool services that Gmail provide. If you've got, let's say that you've got Mary at Telstra.com. Telstra in Australia is a big ISP. So let's say that you've got Mary Smith, all right? Mary Smith at Telstra.com. You would normally access those emails using something like Outlook or Firefox Thunderbird, or in Apple, it's Apple Mail. So you would actually access it using an email client. But you can do this from inside of Gmail. So you can see this pop, they call it pop download. So I'll let you have a play around with this. You enable the pops and you configure your account such that what happens is Gmail goes and looks at your pop inbox and sucks the emails out of the pop inbox, the one that you normally have for your Apple Mail or Outlook, and it actually displays it in Gmail. The second thing which is really cool about it is how you send the emails out of Gmail. So you may have a Gmail account set up, let's say, keep it to Mary Smith, let's say marysmith@gmail.com, and you don't want to have those emails being sent from your Gmail account to show as marysmith@gmail.com. You may want them to show as marysmith@telstra.com. In other words, your main account. So you can actually tell Gmail which address that you want to send out. So from someone on the outside when you send and receive emails from them, everything appears to be normal, but you're operating it through a Gmail account. Right now, the advantage of doing that is, number one is you can access it anywhere in the world on any computer, where you can't when you're running Apple Mail or Outlook, because it's got to be on your laptop or on your phone or something like that. So that's number one. You can operate it from any computer because you just log into your Gmail account. It's on the browser. So that's number one. Number two is well, not guarantee, but the idea of the servers, of the reliability of the email servers being sent from a Gmail server is much, much higher than sending it from your own servers, and you'll have less problems. So it's really, really nifty that Gmail can actually go and suck off your emails and actually display it. And that's in the forwarding and pop. And look, there's plenty of instructions on this. You can go into YouTube and say, how do I set up a pop account in Gmail? And there's lots of people showing you what to do on that one. Okay, so I think we should wrap it up. Let's go back to oh, sorry, we haven't made any. Just remember, down the bottom, you need to click Save Changes on all the time. I haven't made any changes in this, so it's grayed out, so that's all right. I'm just going back to my inbox because I just want to show you one more thing. See the star here? I'm clicking it. Hang on, click. Why doesn't it? Maybe I have to do a refresh. Let's see if I can do a refresh with that. It should show. It's loading mail. No, it's not. Okay, what I was going to do is show you the different colors. Why didn't I'm going back into yep, for someone. All right, okay. I don't know why it did that. Let me just go back to see this. The 1 star, 4 star, all stars. I've selected all stars and they're all highlighted. So I'm going down here and click Save Changes. So maybe now it might work. There we go. See the color changing every time I click, 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 etc. Okay, so that's number one. You can actually color it. Now, if I'm going to save this, let's say I wanted to save this, all you do is drag it across. I'm just clicking it and just slowly just drag it across till that highlights, bang. And if I go and open up saved items, there is the Daniel from Google email is in there. Okay. All right. That will set up your Gmail for the best operation. Everything should run pretty smoothly from there. And if you end up with a problem at all, you can always email me. All right. Good to have you on this video, and I do hope you have fun with your new Gmail account. Okay. Cheers. Bye. Whoops. I better go back and stop sharing. Here we go. Boop, boop, boop. All right, stop. There we go. Stop sharing. Right. Bye for now.